you know, we were at the board meeting, so we heard those comments. So we did have we had a full Teachers Association meeting. We met, and we took a vote. There was a survey, there was a vote, and at this time, it's not going to happen. Their vote was even more off than the referendum vote. So the reasoning behind it, we have a fair contract agreement that was negotiated in good faith. We are already making a contribution and sacrifice by losing stipends and possibly signature programs. So at this time, that's not an option.
All right.
So, I mean, at least we wanted to be prepared for tonight to be able to say either way, right? So that we had some kind of idea.
If Dr. Schoen's numbers, just magic, comes up and you're $40,000 short of that number, would that be something the association would talk about and figure out where can we get $40,000 out of our?
We could always go back and ask if that were the reality
You know,
of
or
it,
if it
like a
was
smaller
50,
number,
if it
right.
saves 2 great programs, you know, or something.
Right, you
3.
cannot, I'm willing to always go back and ask. Ultimately, it's up to the group, right? And whatever the majority says is what we have to go with. So we're happy to bring it back to them, but, you know.
You could need more specifics
Right,
to
it
bring
would
back
be-
to them.
right.
And I think it would need to also, if anything was ever to go back down the chain, it needs the superintendent's salary needs to be looked at, the principal's salary needs to look at. It needs to go from top to bottom before you ask the teacher to have.
I mean, I hope you guys realize that the superintendent took a 0% pay raise, and in all the administrative contracts, it states 0 unless the board approves it. The support staff took a 0% last year. You know, what the board was asking, in a sense, to have a dialogue, open up and have a dialogue, not saying that you have to change it or to modify it. All we were asking for is a dialogue. It's very disappointing to me that you guys are not willing to have a dialogue. No one said that you have to.
What do you mean by a dialogue? What do you mean by a dialogue?
Dialogue doesn't mean.
A dialogue means that there's more than in the contract than just the bottom line of pay, correct?
Correct.
There's language about scheduling. There's language about a whole gamut of stuff in a sense. So by helping having having a conversation about all parts of the contract in a sense of it could be scheduling. It could be the the bell schedule. It could be almost anything that
That's
can
not
help.
negotiating.
That's not what that's not what we were asked. We were asked about giving back money. If you want to have a dialogue, we're happy to. Like, you want to talk about the bell schedule, we've kind of talked about it. Like, we're willing to look at the bell schedule, right? We have to. There's no other option. We, of course, want this to go as smoothly as possible, and we want everybody to be happy. We want the kids, we're looking out for the kids. The only thing we brought to our members was about freezing our pay. So at this point, that wasn't anything that was going to happen. That's what Christian brought up at the board meeting, and so that's what we brought to our members. If you have something else you want us to bring, we're happy to do it.
I think the
And if
last
you
thing
want
we need to do is make the teachers the enemy. when they
No
get
one's saying the teachers are enemies. I was on the negotiating committee for the last 2 negotiations, and I do think it was a fair contract. People don't realize in the public that, for example, the total contract, the way we negotiated, is based on polls, and so which includes healthcare. So, for example, last year when healthcare went up 9%, it only cost the districts 2.5%. I realized that, and everyone on the negotiation team realized it. The teacher realized it. The public does not realize that. And so I do think that we got a fair contract for both sides. But for me, with some stuff, in my opinion, when we say looking and having a dialogue, it's the other stuff also. Perhaps we could it could be stipends, for example, right? Maybe that's something that we could be looked at. Doesn't mean that it has to be agreed on. Just like when we did the negotiation, is that you have a conversation about it, and there's 2 sides to the party. There's the association.
So you want to know if we'll have a dialogue. That's not what was said at that meeting, and that's not what we brought back to our members. If you want to have a dialogue, we are happy to do that. So before you state that you're disappointed, we have to be clear, because I'm not sure what you're even talking about. Like that, there was no conversation about a So we went back to the members and said, hey, is anybody willing to do this? We had an open conversation. We talked about how much it would save the district, how much, what positions it would save and everything else, and we had a vote. So if you want to have a dialogue, we're happy to do that.
So,
You name the time and place and we
so,
will do
so
that.
just so we're clear, right, so when we negotiated, the whole negotiation was a dialogue, correct?
Correct, yes.
And at the end, both sides needed to approve it.
Right.
Correct, so no matter what we negotiated, both sides could have turned it down.
Sure.
So that's the way I look at it, having a conversation, is to say, whatever it is, will the topic come up of, pay? Yes, but it doesn't mean that we have to agree to it, correct?
Correct.
And so, but at least having that conversation, in my opinion, is showing all of us in good faith, in a sense of saying, hey, we talked about it, we saw it, so that's what I meant by it.
Fine, we would love to have a dialogue with you. Yes, you name the time and place will be
And
voted.
just for the record, once whatever on here is proposed, we're both legally obligated to talk to each other anyway.
Right.
We have always talked to each
Yeah,
other and we've
no,
always
but
had a
I'm
very
just
good
saying,
relationship, yes.
you have to do it anyway.
I think maybe what was said at a board meeting, I mean, we took it one way.
But that was one board member, or two,
Right,
or three.
so we wanted to be
saying
ready
it,
for tonight,
right?
right? Like,
So-
we wanted to make sure, we wanted to ask our members to see, like, is that even a possibility?
The most
Right.
important thing I get stressed on in this whole process, having gone through before, is your responsibility. Because
We are very
this is a moving target because it's an estimation now. Once you do your input in February, it'll get redone because we'll know what happened. So everybody just has to be flexible because it's going to change. We don't, there's a lot of stuff we don't know what the state's going to do too. And what the effect of the new administration is on federal funding. I mean, we don't know that either. So there's a lot of things that are going to
And we just lost a PTAB for $80,000 from Target, so that's not reflected in the revenues either.
that'll come out. And again, stressing the obvious, which I always try to say is, the number one rule, in school finance is we don't control our revenue. And that's why we're getting 8 cents for property taxes, because that's all done by somebody else. State revenue, the federal. The only thing the Board of Education has total control over is expenses. So we have to do the best job we can estimating revenue, but we have to, try and figure out the best expenditure pattern, and hopefully revert an efficient and effective manner if we would like to promote achievement in a well-rounded student. And that's, I think, what the president said. So, hey, going back to here, committee work is a great idea. And whether that can fit into the schedule, that's probably a month or two down the road after everybody's had conversations to figure out what schedules are. So that would certainly fill in hopefully any of the missing pieces here, but I don't know if you can count on that to completely replace the program at this point. You can actually schedule it all out, because there may not be enough minutes left, or whatever. Are there any things, Cheryl brought up rates, and is there anything else that you would like to bring up, or is there anything on here that you think is so important that would take precedence over other things that you might be able to squeeze in to save something out?
I keep forgetting that you've been part of a financial recipient.
Yes.
I can answer this question. How many people thought about this? Craig, if you were in this predicament, what are 2 things that you would do if you were dealing with this school district to make sure that it ends?
No
Sorry.
pressure.
Sorry.
Pressure, no.
Because we're in year 2, people don't realize we're in year 2 of 3 of the deficit reduction, so it's with Clapper and certificate. So this will be the end of year 2, next year's the end of year 3. If you were to be sitting at this table, and by the way, there'd be 2 other people besides you, the board would just think they have control over you.
Well,
but they wouldn't.
I may not be appointed, I'm already on board. Two would be more than, well, I guess here's what I would say. In the situation that we are currently in, we inherited a bad, difficult financial situation. and now they have 30% fund, 30-40%. And the way that that was handled was to maintain as much autonomy to the school district as possible. That's really what you want to do. You don't want to tell people how to run their local school district. I mean, that same goes in my math, okay? But what you try and do is, it's kind of like, you know, when you run or something like that, you focus out 20 or 30 feet, and you're like you're riding a motorcycle, you would know this, that you focus out there on the curb, otherwise you're going to be in the field, so that your eyes will take you there. So the one thing I would tell you, the first is, since you have no idea right now whether you will or not pass a referendum, I mean, I
You don't even know if we'll run.
right, I don't know if you know what that is. You need to say, okay, if we have to go through with this entire plan, okay, and balance our budget, what happens in year 3? I mean, is that where what are the options? And then you can work backwards and say, okay, what is best for kids? In the interim step, this is the interim step, something else, because we have to get to here. That's a whole way different way of looking at it than just doing a year at a time. You know, it's kind of like, because you know the second year, you're probably talking, I don't know, 6 to 8 regular teachers out of what, 60, 55 or something? That's a lot. So, you know, what would it look like? If you say that you, so for example, if in 2 years there's no intention of going to grade school, let's just take that scenario, then you would start looking at, well, what does that mean? How would we deal with that? Obviously, probably specials would be absolute something that we have to reduce. If, you know, because we're trying to maintain feasibility, and if you had to remove a section, how would you do that, you know? If you're saying that, you know, you want to look at grade centers 2 or 3 years out, then that brings in a different situation. You may say, well, you know, maybe we should try and keep X, Y, and Z because, you know, that's something that we can add the rest back, you know what I'm saying, or as opposed to doing something else. You have a number of signature programs here. I mean, at least 2 of them. Those are the 2, you know, again, in the world language, you know, signature programs. They're really great programs. But again, I also want to say this. Regardless of what the vote was, based on my financial expertise, there is not any fat over here to start carving off. You have a great program for what you do. And there's no bells and whistles anymore. There's nothing extra. I mean, a lot of the districts like that, if I work with them, when you walk in, I could say, oh, we could come up with 300 or 400 things just like that. You wouldn't just do that. But that's not the case here. You have basically a number section for your regular, probably give you a couple more. And this is not fancy curriculum. It's a very solid, good curriculum. So, I mean, I think that needs to be said. You guys have done a good job with the curriculum and maintaining what you have. I didn't think the job is easy, but like at least, you know, but I think you need to know that though, because, you know, if there was a place to go and just take something out, you do it. And you've gone through the budget twice to take out as much, anything that you think that isn't necessary. We barely made it under operational